Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series, and quite ironically and well-timed, the 50 episode special, ever since the MNN officially started going live. And oh boy, what timing that is, as not only will we announce yet another collaboration as roughly about time as what we expect, but it's actually for the first time in the game's history in its 2 years, we are getting a rerun of a previous collaboration, the Ghost in the Shell 2045 collaboration to be exact, primarily because the Netflix series itself was slated and greenlit for a Season 2 that just got ready to air, or is getting ready to. So with that being said, with this momentous occasion and this well-timed event, before we do get started, I do want to take 1 minute and say thank you so much for coming with me this far. If you have been tagging along through these previous episodes and through the lifetime of the MNN, thank you so much for your encouragement and support. But with that aside, and all the gushiness aside, let's go ahead and jump right into what they did announce for this week, as we have quite a very large amount and pretty big amount of information incoming with this rerun of the particular collaboration. First of which we have are actually 2 brand new models that are showcasing and joining the KKS family from the original Ghost in the Shell collab model series, and that is KKS-03 Takanome with a kit of shooter core, long shot, ACG shot, biped legs, and the leg ability of through shot. So he's packing one completely brand new skill into the game, relatively similar to what we've seen with Mystery Leader with Fighter Core, but he's also packing a really high-end and high-power shooting kit with a very solid leg ability to complement that nonetheless. And then in addition to that, we also will be seeing KKS-04N, gender N, Makaizo Think, basically a distant relative of Oil Clay, as you see here, but definitely designed with higher firepower and artillery in mind, with his kit in particular being anti-CG, Giga Gatling, Hyper Missile, Wheeled Legs, and the Adapter leg ability, which will already put him in a very solid running for a very fantastic bot to go for all the same. Once again, very high-end and very high-power artillery between Giga Gatling and Hyper Missile. But between the two of these, honestly, they do also pack a skill that makes them very solid against Metaforce-reliant nukers, so that makes them very solid for Punishers all the same. Takanome with ACG shot, which is essentially just the shooting variant of a Ghost in this case, and Anti-CG, which more or less is the melee variant of that all the same. As mentioned here, Shooter Core is also a complete brand new skill being added to the game, which more or less at its base is essentially just a reskin variant of Cyber Core, but instead it also gives you an additional bonus of having Shoot Boost applied all the same, which makes it fantastic, of course, for any shooting dominant team builds that you prefer to use. Now with this, for the first time as mentioned in history of the game, we are getting reruns of the original KKS models as well, which honestly brings a lot of hope for the possibility of seeing other collaborations make returns sometime in the future. But in this case, we will be seeing a rerun of the original KKS models, 00 here, which is 9's leader, with the kit of Ghost, Assassin, Thunder, Biped Legs, and the Illusion leg ability. And then we also have KKS-01 Muscleborg with a kit of Radar Sight, Gatling, Ghost Shot, Biped Legs, and the Charge Shot leg ability. So more or less the same as Takanome in this case. High-end shooting skills is definitely what Muscleborg's main focus is, and I do use that left arm on basically any build that involves my Copper Cross, so I can definitely attest it is a fantastic part to make use of. 9 leaders, pretty much by herself, is fantastic and going to be very highly sought after, arguably more than almost any other model in the collaboration thus far, new model or rerun, simply for the fact that as a female type model with her kit, it makes her incredibly versatile on mono-female teams or any teams in particular that are female only, because of how versatile and how well balanced her kit can be and what kind of skills she can offer across the board. So honestly, if I did have to break down a priority list of who to go for in terms of the collaboration set, given of course that both 9's and Muscleborg will both be in the same banner, I would say go for 9's leader first if possible. Makaizo Tank probably after that one for his high artillery, Takanome probably after that one in 3rd place, and Muscleborg last. Not to say any of them are particularly bad or one over the other, but in terms of overall versatility, 9's is definitely going to be the one must-have you really can't ever go wrong with that you want to make use of on on any team, female or otherwise. Now with this aside as well, for the fierce battles we have going on this week, relatively lower key, but then again also kind of to shed light in particular with the collaboration that's incoming through the month of June. And with that being said, for the fierce battles we do have, we are starting the line with HKG0 Hawkdacker with a kit of triple wave, light legs, and the Excel leg ability for extra speed. Behind her, we have LLY0 Lily Madonna with triple laser, tank legs, and the Haja leg ability for passive stat cleansing. And then last but not least, we also have the Magical Girl type FSL0 Fancy Roll with a kit of Virus, Hammer, Napalm, Flight legs, and the Mascot leg ability, which makes her basically an earlier grade, and she technically is, an earlier grade of Fancy Ale for anyone who missed out on her but needs a relatively balanced female flight kit all the same. So ultimately, if I did have to give an MVP of the week, I honestly do have to give it to Lily Madonna in this case, given that laser can be a very powerful skill to make use of pretty much anywhere, no matter what the build is, as long, of course, as you can offset it or complement it with some Metaphor Sustain to help truly realize the max potential that the laser attacks can offer. Hawkdacker and Fancy Roll also are pretty solid as well. Hawkdacker for wave ailments to slow down enemies and make it easier to land hits, and Fancy Roll, of course, for your all-round general female, pretty much your all-round balance in this case for what she does offer between an AoE hit, a scattered AoE, and a turn-skipping skill. Now, in light of the collaboration, we are also getting new skins being added to the convenience store through the duration of the collaboration, and they are skins for both Muscleborg, Nines Leader, and Oil Clay, which was the event reward from the first time the event came around. And might I say, I am in absolute love with these skins. Honestly, just the red and the gold in particular makes a very nice combination, and once again, as a reminder, given that skins and paint chips stack, I can only imagine the possibilities that we'll be seeing for color combinations all the same. I do honestly expect these to probably be the standard price of about 100 diamonds or the event equivalent based on whatever we are given. So of course, as you do make pulls or attempts to pull for the gacha models, I do highly anticipate we probably shouldn't have too much of a difficult time pulling to get a hold of to collect these skins all the same. Now, in addition to these skins, we are also getting paid skins being added as additional purchases that you can add if you're able to make in-game purchases for Medarot S. In this case, we are getting basically one skin each for Nines, for Muscle, Takanome, and Makaizo Think. These packages will roughly go for approximately 20 to 30 USD, depending on what you choose to go after, as well as a ruby bonus on top of that, just to kind of make it all worthwhile if it's something you do choose to go after. But honestly, I have to say these skins are looking really, really nice too. Makaizo Things I'd probably say is one that you probably don't want to focus on as heavily, given that it's more or less just kind of a monochrome-esque, just kind of turn the saturation down kind of thing with his current skin, or with the current regular colors. But honestly, all these skins are looking really nice all the same, and probably will be worth going after if you are able to make some purchases, or can swing a few bucks every here and there through the duration of the event. Now, in light of the event itself, actually, we do have some more information on that incoming. With that being said, we can challenge this particular event to earn rubies and other resource awards, and there are a lot of the big ticket rewards they are focusing on this time around include skins for Medarotters Arase and Hisaki, which, as you see here, if applicable, for those of us that have stuck around all this time and have been through the first Ghost in the Shell collaboration, these are essentially going to be duplicates for you. Also the same for KKS02 Oil Clay as the event reward. In addition to this, however, the skin, will be a first time bonus for everybody, whether you have already earned Oil Clay or if this will be your first time getting him. Oil Clay himself honestly is still pretty solid too. Both he and Makaizo Think, just as a reminder, are both gender N, meaning you can use their parts pretty much anywhere on any tin pet, male or female, with very little hindrance to the overall performance of the bot, parts or otherwise. We can also earn commemorative banners, as you see here, for our profile plates, and of course the other big ticket item here is the Hacker Medal, with a mastery in shooting, support, and setup skills, and a leg mastery of biped, wheeled, and sea-based legs. So So honestly going to be a really solid addition right there as well, especially given that it's a sniper nature medal all the same, which honestly goes hand in hand here with the theme of Ghost in the Shell. So definitely going to be definitely a lot of fantastic rewards with this event in particular, and I do feel it is going to be a relatively easy event to farm, given particularly in the fact that this event is going to be milestone and percentage based. So instead of having to equip one part per build and only get one flat bonus, instead with this one you can get a stackable multiplicative bonus relative to the number of parts you have equipped on the team that give you that bonus. So naturally, with this being said, this event will be pure set encouraged, as you can maximize that bonus this way instead of having to mix parts up and get scattered bonuses for this one, unlike ticket events of the past, which honestly have been just a little difficult and kind of grind friendly, closer to and more friendly towards endgame whales than they are to newcomers or rookie Medarotters that are just getting into the swing of things. But as you see here, for those of us that have stuck around or just going to be picking up these sets, naturally Takanome and Makaiza think will be giving you the highest bonus at 15% per part, of course when capped at 5-star. Muscleborg and 9's Leader will be giving us a 10% bonus each, again as pure sets. And then as an 8% bonus, we will be getting Oil Clay, of course, as the event reward, so relatively easy to collect these parts all the same. Cross Messiah will be giving us a natural 7% bonus as a way for anybody to get involved in this and still get some kind of bonus out of it. And then, of course, each of the fierce battles we have this week, Hawkdacker, Lily Madonna, and Fancy Roll, will give us only a 6% bonus per part each for the multiplicative bonuses of this event. And then last but not least, for the Medarotters, naturally the skins for Arase and Hisaki will give you the best bonus at 10% each, while regular Arase, Hisaki, Ibuki, and Nozomi will only give you a 5% bonus each. I do highly anticipate we will be seeing this event as a twofold, so do expect to see some more information likely to come out as closer to the event's beginning, as well as its midterm point and end points as the month of June does decide to go on. Now, we do also get a couple other bonuses that were added and tossed in with this week's announcement, which was actually live streamed, by the way, not just by our regular host on the Medarot channel, but also joined by the resident VTubers, Shushu Pop, Leah Lila, and Cheerful Bunny. As you kind of see here by the screenshots I clipped here below, I wasn't quite able to get to edit them out exactly. But in this case, one of the other updates we are getting is an update to the UI and the HUD when it comes to looking at models in the gacha banners. As you see here on the left, originally it was a white-based background in order to take a look at stats or the information. That will be changing now to a transparent HUD that darkens the screen to make it easier to read. Now, I am honestly fully on board with this for ease of access as a quality of life improvement. So definitely looking forward to seeing that officially in game as a official feature coming soon. Now, we did also get one last thing, and that was some more insight on the tune-up parts feature that should be going live here sometime very, very soon. Basically, to go over the overview of this, it is simply a point where we can get extra missions to earn tune-up points that we can use to permanently upgrade certain stats of parts that equip the tune-up points during the course of events or even story-based outlines where they do apply. So basically more of a, if you want to call it that way, a situational power-up chip kind of sense. But in this case, the mission that they offer you, both daily and limited, will give you an opportunity as well to buy completion with rubies if you decide that you just can't take on that particular mission or just knock them out all at once. Not 100% sure why you'd want to use rubies in order to complete all these when it's something that could be relatively feasible, but honestly that boils down to preference in this case. I could honestly go into more detail about this, but given that it is still brand new, I do want to give it some time to officially go live first and kind of figure out how it works, and I honestly would plan more to make this a another Row Battle Studies 101 breakdown once I kind of have a better understanding of how it works and some overviews of how the menus and the HUD menus look and how they behave, so I can better explain it in detail in one of those and spend more dedicated time working on them. But with all that being said, on the community front, we are still continually looking for translators for the Medarot 3 and the Medarot Reloaded translation projects. Coding and programming have been going fantastically for the Medarot 3 translation, according to my buds Variant and Wisit, the two of the main heads of that project, but translators and cleaners are still very highly appreciated, so we can see that project to completion and work on other projects like Medarot 3 or Medarot 4, Medarot 5, or even Navi, which are very highly sought after and highly requested projects to work on. Same thing with Medarot, with the Medarot Reloaded manga. Lots and lots of chapters that need to be translated. Only a small handful have been up to this point. It's been kind of that way for several months now. We would love to see more of the story as it comes out, but we are in need of cleaners and translators for these projects. So, that being said, if you are knowledgeable in Japanese and have some coding, cleaning, or translating on your hands with some time to burn, we are more than appreciative of any efforts that you'd be willing to provide, so we can see these projects to completion and work on other projects. So we, as the Western community, can continue to enjoy the Medarot series alongside our fellow Japanese friends. Now, with the weekly art highlight for this week, it really wasn't super hard to find any for this week. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, what week is hard to look for art? Because let's be real, there's some fantastic Medarot art on Twitter and on Pixiv and everywhere else you decide to look. But this week I chose to highlight a couple pieces here. This one in particular by Soazi, who highlighted an ever-loved and well-beloved shark-type Yucatan from the old days of Medarot 1 and the original fight between him and Metal Beetle. Soazi always gives fantastic work, someone you can never ever go wrong with following or send a shout to. Then, of course, this piece here by Kyo Masa F, both users here on Twitter. This one in particular actually was highlighting a rather lesser known, I suppose, model and lesser recognized model that was a newcomer of the Medarot Reloaded manga, Steam Gunner, which, given the steampunk aesthetic, is one I absolutely adore and would love to see join Medarot S one day. She basically fights similarly to the SLR series like Sailor Multi, according to what I have heard and have read. But would love to see her in the game all the same at some point eventually. But definitely give both of these people a follow if you'd like to see more Medarot art in your feeds. You will definitely not be sorry for doing so. But with all that being said, I believe that covers just about everything for this week's episode. So thanks again for stopping by, folks. If you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page or the Metabots Forever communities on there. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below to keep a close ear down to the action on anything related to Medarot on the Western Front. This includes any incoming merch, updates to games, translation projects, anything at all. That's the place you go. That's the first place you'll hear any updates before anywhere else. You can also reach out to me on Twitter personally at Isagami-kura, so if you have any questions, feedback, suggestions, or comments, I am more than appreciative of any efforts that you'd be willing to provide. And my DMs are always open, so feel free to give me a shout. Don't be a stranger. I always love a friendly conversation. But with that being said, before I do go a little farther, I do also want to say thank you so very much for following me through this journey of 50 episodes, actually, that the Medarot News Network has been diligently and faithfully delivering news updates of the Medarot S and the Medarot community for the Western community. Thank you so much for being there as a support for me. And as a support to the community as itself, is my way to give back to you guys, and as a way that we can kind of serve as a bridge between the Western and the Eastern communities, so we can still show the world and show Imagineer that this series is definitely not long from forgotten, and is a well-loved series we would love to see localized once again. But with that being said, do also give these fine pages a follow as well. It is the official Medarot shop page and the official Medarot S pages. Both of these share constant updates and feeds regarding Medarot, whether that be highlighted art, incoming news pieces from artists or authors or anything of the like, as well as constant updates around the game Medarot S. So if you'd like to keep up to date with those, in addition to my weekly updates and my weekly episodes, definitely give both of those pages a follow to keep a closer ear to the action on anything related to Medarot. But with all that being said, I believe that does cover just about everything. So thanks again for stopping by, folks. It's always happy to have you in for a visit. Until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.